talk about how, I'll say grueling it is to constantly having to wake up and do all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the positives always outweigh the negatives. That's the first thing I would say. But yeah, I mean, I've been in the States for like 2.5 weeks, like doing promo, and you get up early, and we've been on like 7 or 8 flights in the last like 2 weeks, which like, you know, I was already feeling quite like run down, and of course got ill at like the worst time. Like when I'm supposed to be singing every day, and like got a chest infection, which then became a sinus infection, and it just happens. But like, I'm always like, the show must go on. We're fine.
But how do you physically do that? So we have in Atlanta, Georgia, we have a lot of allergies, so I have no voice. And this is like one of the first days I got it back. How do you kind of power through that? Are there secrets?
Yes, there are. It's like you can steam, use like, you know, certain medicine, whatever, but you do get to a point sometimes where you have to stop. And I know now what my physical limits are, like when it's like, okay, it's cool, I can push through, and then being like, hey guys, I can't sing for a day, I've got to go on vocal rest. And it's about knowing your limits, because sometimes if you don't take that day, then you have to take 10 days a week later, which like is worse. And you know, my team and everybody are really, they're good at being able to tell as well. So last week, you know, we had to do one of those days where it's just like, okay, no singing, just need to let the voice rest. And that's it.
You know how they have those YouTube tutorials for makeup and things? You should have on the side something for the voice or for staying healthy, right? On the road?
Yeah, it's
not bad. All right, so let's take it back. Mabel has a very storied past in terms of your family being very musical.
Yes.
And not only very musical, but very famous for what they do. Let's just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so my mum is an artist. Her name's Nana Cherry, and my dad is a producer, and he's produced like the first Massive Attack record, Blue Lines, and like All Saints, Sugar Babes, like things like that. And obviously that's amazing musical heritage to have. I think, you know, I've always been making my own music and been in my own lane and been doing my own thing. But like, of course, I was inspired by them growing up, watching them create, and they encouraged me obviously to like learn an instrument when I was young, because I had quite a lot of anxiety and sort of like mental health, just, you know, like depression and things like that from a super young age. And I think lots of creative people suffer from similar things, so I'm very grateful, and I feel very lucky that I had parents that just understood and recognized what it was straight away, and was like, you know, you should express yourself in some way and find some kind of outlet for those negative feelings and a way to turn them into something positive. So I started writing and making music when I was really young, like 5, 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first instrument you picked up?
I played piano first.
Okay.
And I played piano like literally like every day, would play for hours like after school, and then I played a little bit of guitar for a while, but it's like always piano. I feel like I write well on the piano. I like always like taking my songs, stripping them back and playing them on piano like after sessions, because I think if things sound good just like acoustically, then you know you have a great song. Right.
Mabel on The Takeover with me, Adam Baum, on Q99.7. Okay, let's fast forward it to, I believe now, if Wikipedia is correct, 2015 is really when the first single came out.
Yes.
Right before that's happening, right when you're kind of in your own lane, like you were saying, was it hard for you to just stay doing your music separate from all the other stuff your family is? Because some people kind of get influenced to kind of go in that lane. Was that hard for you to just go, no, I'm going to go this way?
My parents always really encouraged me to do my own thing, and, you know, to like make music with as many different people as possible and experiment with genre, and like I think I was nervous for a while about what other people were going to think about you know, whether my parents helped me get into the music business, and whether I was letting my dad produce my records, and like, you know, things like that, which was really not the case. And obviously I was like 18, 19 when you're still pretty like conscious, I think, of what other people think.
You're right, yeah.
Now I'm 23 and I'm just like, I could not care less what you think.
Right.
But at that time I was like, maybe I should change my name and pretend that I'm not their daughter, and that, you know, just all these things like ran through my mind. And then I just remember waking up one day and being like, yeah, but even though like we don't work together and whatever, like I know the truth, but at the same time I'm really proud of the things they've accomplished, and I'm also very aware of that, you know, I am the way I am because they are the way they are. Right. And that's really cool, and I do want to be like, yeah, this is my mom, this is my dad, I'm really proud, and then leave it at that, you know?
Right. Excellent. Mabel, the first time you stepped on stage professionally, describe that feeling, describe what it was and how it was.
I guess I thought I was going to do what my dad does, which is kind of a bit more behind the scenes. Like I knew I loved to write music and make music, and I'd say like the first like 12 years of my musical relationship were just for me, almost like journaling. So I hadn't quite wrapped my head around the sort of being in front of cameras and singing in front of people.
So it was a little nerve-wracking, right?
I was terrified.
Okay.
I was like shaking, and I remember like trying to plan what I was going to say in between songs. And it was a wildly different experience to the person that I am now before I go on stage. I'm still nervous. I think everybody gets nervous. Nerves are great. It means you care, and you should care about what you do.
Right.
But also at the same time, I think the biggest thing for me was letting go of the idea of perfection, because there's so much anxiety and pressure placed on being perfect and not playing a note wrong or singing a note wrong or saying something that's silly or tripping and falling on your face. I've done all of the above. Like, it happens.
Right,
it happens.
right.
And if you could just stand up and be like, hey guys, I did that wrong, or that was funny, or whatever, let's do that again, people don't care.
Yeah.
That's not why people pay to see you. They don't pay to see everything sound the way that it does on the record and for perfection. They pay to like connect with you and you know, relive their memories or whatever it is that's connected to the music. It's not about perfection. And when I let go of that and was like, oh, people just want me to have fun because they have fun when I have fun, that's when the show started getting really good.
You know, you are great, like just talking about the things that you've been through and kind of the things, the struggles, like getting through just the anxiety of getting on stage.
Right.
You're a great role model for a lot of people trying to do this. Do you have those fans that are kind of hitting you up saying, hey, I go through some of the same things,
For sure.
maybe not necessarily an artist, but
Yeah.
does that kind of touch you a lot? Because that's a lot for somebody to kind of be a role model in.
It does. I mean, I try not to think of myself as a role model because that's a lot.
But you are though, you know?
But yeah, I mean, I get messages from people every day being like, oh my God, I go through this too. I can't believe that you do. Like, how do I deal with that? Blah, 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 blah. And I think that growing up, if one of my idols, because music helped me massively with anxiety and depression and stuff, if one of my idols had just been like, hey guys, I have bad days sometimes and that's okay, it would have changed a lot of things for me. Not fixed everything, but it would have made me feel less alone. And nothing scares me more than the idea of people feeling like they're alone in the world.
Yeah.
So even though sometimes I'm like, oh, you know, in the beginning I was like, it's difficult to talk about these things, I will talk about them like forever.
Forever,
because
right.
I just want people to know that like we all go through the same things and that's okay.
Mabel's on the takeover with me, Adam Baum. I'll tell you, 2019 so far, that Don't Call Me Up, that's just very hooky. Let's talk about the first time you heard it, the finished product, and how you were feeling.
So in the studio, when we listened back to it, we did it in one day, and when we listened back to it, I was kind of scared of the song.
Why?
I say this sometimes, and it's not in a condescending way to myself or anything like that, but I always say sometimes the song is bigger than you. Sometimes like the song grows wings and you just kind of let it fly you places.
Yeah, of course.
And I kind of had that feeling of being like, whoa, like this song feels different. There's something crazy about this song. Like, could this maybe change my life? And it kind of has.
Well, it's so relatable though. I mean, I want you to explain the song, but I can hear it right away. It's so relatable to so many, not only females, but males. You know, the males are going to get into it though.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I guess I wanted to write a breakup song, which is like, empowering. It's so easy after a breakup to just be like, but you know, things happen for a reason. I genuinely believe that, and if the only thing you can take away from a situation is a lesson, then you know you've done a good job, because I think you grow from every experience. And I just wanted to capture that feeling of like when you've been really down about something or someone, and then they come back around and you're like, oh my God, I'm over you now, and it feels good, and I'm actually better on my own, and the way that you used to make me feel is not okay, so I'm not going to pick up, and like I've had that feeling over the last year, and it feels great.
I've asked other artists this, but I want to know from you, is it sort of therapeutic when you're putting your real life experiences in music? Is it therapeutic for you to just get it out, just for the feeling for you?
It's the best therapy I know. Sometimes I can sing things better than I can say them, and you know, I'll go through things and quite often I'll internalize them. People will be like, you okay? What, that thing that you just went through is kind of crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And then I write a song, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that's how I was feeling about it.
Yeah, right.
And that's why I make music.
It's a good journal though. Like you were talking about journal for your first part of the career. Now, you know, this is a great journal for it. Mabel is on the takeover with me, Adam Baum. Okay, the rest of this year, describe what's going on, because you got a new album, and then you know the rest of it.
Yeah, so made my debut album, which is due to drop this year, which is kind of crazy because, I don't know, I'm an album person. I
Mhm.
grew up listening to albums, like you listen to them from beginning to end.
Okay.
And I think it's not a lost art. There's loads of amazing people making amazing albums, but there's also another like wave of albums, which is like, I'd say that maybe things feel a little rushed, and it's more just like you just throw a bunch of songs on a record and you're like, here we go.
Right.
And that was never something that I wanted to do. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I was like, I want to make an album that like has a mood and
Yeah.
that like tells a story and you know, I was young when I signed my record deal. So you sign a record deal, I signed to Universal, and they're like, off you go make an album. And I was like, but I'm 19, I haven't lived enough, I don't know what I want to say. So
Mhm.
like I feel like I kind of had to live to find things to write about, and it's done now though. Well, it's nearly there, and I'm like,
Can you give us what the mood of the album is? Are you allowed to say?
okay, so without going into it too much, which by the way I cannot wait to do, I'd say that I had a lot of like confidence issues growing up, and I've gained so much confidence from making this album. So that's what I want to give back to people. I want people to feel confident and just so good about themselves when they listen to it. It's actually up tempo and fun, and I want people to dance and just feel themselves. And even the songs that are sort of deeper, you know, and a little bit darker, I feel like they still have elements of like empowerment, and I just want to make people feel good.
Man, that's a lot, Mabel. You got a big year going on here. Do you get time to chill anymore? Is this the chill thing you're going to do all week?
Do you know what? There's not a lot of chill time right now because Don't Call Me Up is really just taking me places at the moment. I'm just like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
cool.
like it's its own person right now, right?
It's difficult as well when you do what you love. Like, where do you draw the line? Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm going to work, guys.
So no spring break for you, is what you're saying.
For me. No.
It's all good. Mabel, we appreciate you coming in.
Thank
Don't
you,
Call
Mabel.
Me Up, the single. Obviously, we play it, and thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Bam. Want to do...